Every day, you make decisions: what to buy, who to trust, what to believe. But here's the real question: are those decisions really yours, or are they designed? This channel breaks down the psychology behind everything. I'm Shrest, and this is where we decode the world.
Welcome to today's Explainer. Okay, so we are going to look at a deeply counterintuitive, honestly kind of terrifying premise today, and it's this: the more protected we feel, the more dangerous we become. I know, it sounds completely backward. We spend our entire lives adding safety nets, right? We buy insurance, we wear helmets, we pad everything to protect ourselves. But what if those exact safety measures are secretly the very things putting us in jeopardy? To really understand this, let's travel back to 1975. America was facing a huge crisis with rise in car deaths, so the government stepped in with these massive, sweeping auto safety mandates. We're talking mandatory seatbelts, padded dashboards, collapsible steering columns, the whole shebang. Scientists, engineers, and lawmakers were absolutely certain of the outcome. It was just basic math to them. The goal was simple: cut road deaths in half. But then the data came in, and an economist named Sam Peltzman made this shocking discovery. The net lives saved among drivers was zero. Literally zero. Driver deaths remained completely unchanged. Think about that. Despite all the new padding, the seatbelts, the engineering miracles, the overall risk of a driver dying just didn't drop the way everyone guaranteed it would.
And, well, the story actually gets darker. While driver deaths stayed roughly the same, pedestrian and cyclist deaths went up. Why? Because the moment drivers felt safe, wrapped up in their padded, seatbelt-equipped steel cages, they unconsciously started driving faster. They drove way more recklessly. Sure, they survived the crashes, but they ended up shifting the fatalities onto the innocent pedestrians and cyclists on the outside.
This phenomenon actually has a name. It's called the Peltzman effect. Basically, when protection increases, risk-taking increases proportionally. And here's the crazy part. This isn't just some quirky historical anecdote about cars. It's a fundamental psychological bug in how the human brain processes risk. Everywhere. You are unconsciously compensating for the protection you gain by taking on more risk.
Section 1. Psychology of Risk. Why safety makes us dumb.
Let's break down the behavioral mechanics behind this. It really happens in 4 distinct steps. First, you get increased protection. Say, you put on a helmet. That leads to step 2, more licensing. The protection literally becomes permission. Your brain whispers, hey, I'm wearing a helmet, so I can ride a bit faster, which naturally breeds overconfidence, leading right into step 3, higher risk. You completely overestimate your own skill. And finally, we hit step 4, which is invisible risk transfer. This is where the severe consequences of your risky behavior are felt by innocent parties, like the pedestrians we just talked about.
This brings us to a fascinating concept known as the risk thermostat. Humans naturally maintain a target level of risk. If a situation feels way too dangerous, we instinctively take defensive actions. But if safety gear drops that perceived risk below our target level, well, we subconsciously attempt to push our risk right back up to that target by doing more dangerous things. We literally adjust our actions to maintain our preferred level of danger. It's wild.
Section 2. The global safety trap, infecting global systems. And this brilliantly illustrates just how massive the Peltzman effect really is. Look at the NFL. Modern helmets were introduced to stop deaths, but players are actually doing worse with concussions now. Why? Because they literally weaponize the helmets for harder hits. Or take skiing. Helmeted skiers go way faster and have a higher risk index than the ones without helmets. Skydivers take more chances when they get better gear. During COVID-19, lockdowns and vaccines lowered the perceived risk, which led to pandemic fatigue and more socializing, ultimately undermining the policies. Heck, even in global finance, introducing deposit insurance to stop bank runs actually makes bank owners and depositors take bigger, significantly more reckless risks.
In fact, there's a whole stock market version of this called Hyman-Minsky's financial instability hypothesis. The core idea is super simple. Stability begets instability. Prolonged prosperity and really safe economic environments breed massive bull markets. And those bull markets encourage people to take wild financial risks, which eventually cause massive crashes in this unending cycle. The safety literally guarantees the crash.
Section 3. Impact on India. Peltzman effect today.
168,491, that is the staggering number of people killed on India's roads in a single year. Now, to put that into perspective, India accounts for just 1% of the global vehicular population. 1%. Yet, it has the highest number of accident-related deaths in the world, and 7 out of 10 of those deaths are caused by speeding. In 2024 alone, that was roughly 480 deaths every single day.
And here is the bitter, incredibly tragic Peltzman irony in India. Knowledge about the benefit of helmets is actually really high, but it just doesn't percolate to actual safety usage. People wear helmets mostly just to dodge traffic police and avoid fines. But because they wear them, they suddenly feel protected. So what do? They drive faster. They might survive a crash, but an unprotected pedestrian dies instead. The protection just redistributed the risk, it completely failed to eliminate it.
And the roads are really just the beginning here. Look at the financial markets. India has over 15 crore active demat accounts right now. It's a massive revolution. But 9 out of 10 retail traders in futures and options actually lose money. They are collectively bleeding 1.8 lakh crore rupees. These easy zero brokerage trading apps act as a shiny new safety net for a whole generation of investors. The app feels safe, the stop loss feels safe, and SEBI's regulations kind of act like a financial seatbelt. So what do people do? They speed. They take on massive positions they don't even understand.
This quote from Nitin Kamath really captures it perfectly. Just like UPI making payments totally frictionless, or buy now, pay later apps protecting us from the immediate pain of parting with cash, these modern tools totally mask the danger. The illusion of safety encourages really reckless financial debt. Yes, the system democratizes access, which is great, but people are jumping in without any preparation. They get stuck in a loop of overtrading because it just feels so safe to click a button on your phone.
Section 4. When safety backfires, the crucial nuance.
Now, I need to make a really important clarification here. When Peltzman's article was first published back in 1975, motorcycle associations immediately used it to oppose helmet mandates. They claimed helmets infringed on liberty and, based on the study, actually increased neck injuries. Following this flawed logic, 28 states in the US foolishly repealed their helmet laws. And the result? Well, motorcycle deaths absolutely soared.
So, the absolutely crucial point to take away is this: the Peltzman effect does not mean safety measures are useless. Safety gear does work. For example, in the US, motor vehicle fatalities per capita declined by more than half from the 1960s through 2012, mostly due to better vehicle safety standards. But, and this is the key caveat, the benefits are always partially offset by our own compensation. Safety measures without a fundamental change in our behavior are completely incomplete.
Section 5. Audit personal risk. The mirror is on you.
So let's turn the mirror around for a second. Look at your own life. Got a good, stable salary? Maybe you stopped upskilling. That salary became your helmet. You slowed down your drive and called it stability. Set up an automatic mutual fund SIP? Maybe you stopped tracking your money entirely, essentially handing the wheel to someone else while you took a nap in the passenger seat. Bought a gym membership? Be honest, you might be eating more junk food because you feel you earned it. The gym is your crash padding. Got into a committed relationship? Maybe that comfort acted as an airbag and you stopped putting in effort, just crashing slowly without even noticing.
You really have to stop and ask yourself, is your protection actually protecting you, or is it just redistributing the risk? Where in your life have you gotten so perfectly safe that you've just started coasting? The solution here isn't to rip away all your safety nets. It's to consciously audit your own internal risk thermostat.
Sam Peltzman once jokingly suggested this wild thought experiment. He said that the absolute safest car wouldn't have airbags or seatbelts or padded dashboards. Instead, it would have a 6-inch sharp metal spike mounted right in the middle of the steering wheel, pointing straight at the driver's chest. Think about that for a second. If you drove that car, you would drive with absolute terrifying precision. You would be acutely aware of every single danger on the road.
Now, obviously, he wasn't being serious about actually building that car, but the principle behind it is profoundly real. The safest version of you isn't the most shielded, protected, invincible version of you. True safety actually comes from remaining acutely aware of the dangers around you. It is the version of you that feels the absolute weight of consequence in every single decision you make.
Because the exact moment you start to feel invincible, you are already in terrible danger. So I want to leave you with one final thought to really reflect on today. Take a hard look at your career, your money, your relationships. What is your helmet making you do? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. I'll see you next time.
Think about power, identity, and how situations shape who we are. Subscribe.